are Geekcentric, and you can be too. Love ya. Get home safe, guys. Peace.
Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to our special Behind the Geeks episode for Side Quest. My name is Nate, and if you're joining us for the first time, well, we are Geekcentric, a podcast celebrating the world of movies, TV shows, games, and all things geekcentric. Today, I'm excited to share a couple of conversations with some of the incredible cast of Side Quest, which is a 4-part anthology series from the world of Mythic Quest, streaming now on Apple TV Plus, alongside the finale for Mythic Quest Season 4, which we've also been loving. We actually got to chat with the cast and showrunner for Mythic Quest as well, and we've got those interviews available right now on your podcast services of choice or over on YouTube. I can't wait to see how things wrap up in that series. I've not watched the finale yet, but I am planning on doing so very soon. Huge thanks to our friends at Apple for giving us the opportunities to talk to these incredibly talented folks. We had 2 excellent conversations. First, with 3 of the cast members of episode 2, titled Pull List. We spoke with Bria Henderson, who plays Cherry, Shalita Grant, who plays Janae, and the incredibly cool William Stanford Davis, who plays Earl. He also plays Mr. Johnson, the janitor on Abbott Elementary, so I was super stoked, being a big fan of that show, to chat with him, and he does not disappoint. Then, in our second interview, we spoke with Annamarie Kasper, who is the lead actress from episode 3, titled Fugue, and who is an actual cello player. She plays a cello player, but she's also a cello player in real life, and she got to bring her love and her incredible talents of both cello and acting together in the same episode. So, yeah, we connected with so much in terms of the content of these episodes, but also these characters. And even though, you're only really going to get a small amount of time with them, they managed to pack so much in these very lovely 24-minute episodes that Apple refers to, or Mythic Quest refers to, as an expansion pack, which I absolutely adore. And, if you've seen the bottleneck episodes of Mythic Quest, you know just how fantastic they are. So they were like, what if we just gave you 4 more? And they are equally just as wonderful. So definitely check out Side Quest. Again, that's streaming now on Apple TV Plus. Also, be sure to stay tuned here on your podcast service of choice or over on YouTube at youtube.com/geekcentric. And be sure to follow us on our socials at GeekcentricYT on Twitter, or on Instagram and TikTok at We Are Geekcentric, because we've got so much more coming down the pipeline that we're so excited to share with you, including our coverage of The Studio, which is also on Apple TV Plus, as well as Doctor Who Season 2. We've got The Last of Us Season 2 and/or Season 2, and of course, all things Star Wars Celebration in Japan. We're counting down the days. We are so stoked. So again, we are Geekcentric, and you can be too by subscribing, following, and maybe even giving us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That would be nice. But with all of that out of the way, let's start things off here with our chat with the cast of Side Quest Episode 2, Bria Henderson, Shalita Grant, and William Stanford Davis. Hey everyone, my name's Nate.
And I'm Darcy.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us on the Geekcentric podcast. How are y'all doing today?
Great.
Good. How you doing?
Amazing.
I'm good. We get to talk to you lovely folks. You are all so excellent in this episode of Side Quest, and we really connected with it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of kick our conversation off, I'm sure all of you have probably done these junkets where you've had to describe your own characters. We're going to flip things up a little bit, and we want to know how would you describe each other's characters? Like Shalita, and Bria, how would you describe Earl? I mean, how could you describe Earl?
I would say Earl is surprising.
Mm-hmm.
I would say no nonsense.
No nonsense.
I would say no nonsense, but full of nonsense.
I would say competitive.
Okay.
And I'm gonna end it with Earl was compassionate.
Compassion. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He has that soft under, current.
I like it. All right. Okay, then William and Bria, who is Janae?
Ooh. Um, a leader, definitely a leader.
Yes.
I would say.
You can use the same word, no nonsense. She didn't take any stuff from anybody. She ran things. She's what we call a boss.
I'll definitely say a boss.
Yeah.
I would say selfless.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
And she cared about everybody in the store. So she had a kindness about her. I guess, like I said, I don't want to repeat the same words, but she had a lot of compassion. But she was no nonsense. If you came in the store and you were messing up, I won't say what I was going to say.
Get out from behind the desk, I think.
She would let you know that you were messing up and you'd have to go. But she kind of kept order in the place. It's her place, so she made sure that everybody toed the mark. But have a good time. They were all welcome.
Okay. And finally, William and Shalita, who is Cherry?
She was kindness, man. She was just sweet. That's just the way I looked at her character, looked at her. She was just very sweet. And she kept her ear to the ground. She knew about everything that was going on in the store. She reminded me of my grandmother. Not in a way that she knew everybody's business. She knew what was going on because she kept her eye on everything.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, one thing we really enjoyed with this episode is that even though we didn't get a ton of time with these characters, we really got to see their personalities brought to life by you guys. For each of you, was there anything that you really connected to with your characters?
Yeah, I would say Janae for me, the community building, the doing business, trying to do business, trying to make a business for your community. It's really challenging. I mean, thinking about like what we're talking about now with Gen Z, with the, third spaces and the loneliness, being the kind of person who wants to facilitate community, there are a whole host of issues and problems that come with that. And how do you persevere through the problems to focus on your mission?
Mm-hmm.
I would say for Cherry, her relationship with Dom reminded me of me and my little brother. So that was really easy to kind of tap into. Also, just the way Cherry kind of took up space with her energy. That's like something that I definitely feel like do as well. And being a little bit misunderstood too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely can. Yeah.
The only thing that I can connect to my character is I'm old. And he's old. I just real old, so there you have it, sports fans. Earl is old.
Earl is old. It's funny. We were rewatching the episode before we came in here, and we were like, how old is that person calling in asking about the comic book store still being a strip club, given that it's now like gone through 2 different iterations, and Earl remembers when it was a strip club.
Fond memories.
Absolutely. Well, and William, according to the fine folks at the comic book shop, it's nerd code to settle things by playing a round of Magic the Gathering against Earl. Did you actually play any Magic the Gathering to prepare for the role, or?
They brought me in a couple of days early to show me how to play this crazy card game, And, I was still learning up until the last frame that we shot because it was like so crazy.
Yeah,
it's been intense, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's definitely a nerd adventure, I should say. Yeah. But I played it to a T, though,
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you played it, you acted like you knew what you were doing, and that's all that matters in a game of Magic, really, is acting like you know what's going on.
That's it.
So there's a big moment in the story where these characters lock themselves away to avoid being spoiled on the latest issue of Mythic Quest. For each of you, have you ever had something spoiled for you like that?
And we'll say spoilers for our listeners right now on the podcast. Spoilers ahead for anything. Who knows?
I feel like any show that I watch, if I get on like Twitter or get online and like if I start scrolling, I'm gonna see the whole ending, and that gets on my nerves. So yes, I've had a lot of shows spoiled for me because of social media.
Yeah, I won't even get on social media if I'm watching something. My wife is commanded that I watch paradise. And I won't
Okay.
talk to anyone about it, because, I don't want them to spoil it for me.
That's a good call.
Mhm.
Yeah. Shalita, how about yourself?
I don't know. I just don't have a button for spoilers, I guess. I know that I have been spoiled. I know that I have actively not looked at hashtags for shows that I'm watching, and still through the scroll, you see the end scene somebody posted or whatever, and it's just like, you know what? It is what it is. So I don't really have a button really for that. So yeah, it is what it is.
Right.
It's just the times we live in.
Yeah. I think we all, just have to completely go internet blackout on those things
Right.
and just don't even. Now, Bria, in the show, we see that the comic book store is really a safe haven for Cherry, and it's so personal to her, and it's a really touching moment with her and sort of learning how to maybe share that space for
Mhm.
yourself. Have you ever had something that was, or a place, or something that was just for you that you so desperately wanted to keep for yourself?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I feel like, yeah, I have in the past. I feel like, I guess so recently, not to make things dark, it's not to be dark, but last year my mom passed away. And so I was able to, when I came back home to kind of help with everything with my dad and my brother, I decided to just sleep in her bed because I just wanted to feel closer to her. And so that it's weird because her room kind of became my sacred space. So I didn't want to share her room with my dad or my brother. Like it was hard to be like, yeah, you could come in too, I guess, sharing that. So I would say like, yeah, I definitely can connect with Cherry about like finding a safe haven, a safe space to be yourself fully, where you're fully accepted and it's your world. And then having other people who also do deserve to be there and share that with you, like having to kind of like, compromise and yeah, with yourself internally with that. So I will say, yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Definitely.
Like everybody needs a safe place, and it's really nice to see that Cherry has found that with a community like you were talking about, Shalita. And in this episode, we kind of see these characters describe themselves as nerds, and we're the Geekcentric podcast, so we like to think of ourselves as geeks. Would you guys describe yourself as a nerd or a geek? And if so, what kind of nerd or geek are you?
Question. Okay, because I've been thinking about this actually. I
Okay.
have been, because I was like in preparation for these conversations.
Right.
How do I identify? And you know what? I had some thoughts. I'm not gonna tell you where I was when I had them, but I had some thoughts, and I was like, when I was young, I'm 37 now, but when I was like in school, in middle school, elementary school, the whole geek nerd thing had less to do with like what you buy or like than who you are as a person.
Mhm.
So I would say that based on, my time, I was a nerd because I was about school, but I wasn't weird. Like the geek thing, it goes, excuse a little hard left. It's a little nasty. Like maybe you pick your nose, you got caught one time, you
Yeah.
got caught eating out the trash one time, and then that's your whole personality after that.
I'm trash
So I
kid.
was a nerd, but I wasn't like a Harry Potter nerd or a, Magic the Dragon nerd. Like I was just a nerd.
I like it. Bria, how about yourself?
Okay, so from elementary to high school, I was a band geek. So I was in marching band, I was in jazz. Also, I played clarinet for like 8 years. I was so much a geek that I recently bought a clarinet like a couple years ago just to see if I still could play, and I can still play because that's how much I love playing. But as I've gotten older, I really love hair. So I feel like I'm a hair nerd. And I love everything about Black hair and styling, and I study it so much. Yeah, it's like my little hobby on the side.
I
So
love
I
that.
was,
Yeah,
mhm.
be geeky about anything, really.
Yeah.
And I would say Bria being a band geek actually still fits the setup I set up because let's talk about the clarinet and clarinet P. I went to Juilliard. So we would work in the practice rooms and the musicians would use our practice rooms, trumpets, clarinets, and all that saliva, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and then we just
It
dump
does
it
get
on the
nasty.
floor and let it evaporate, and then we come in leotards later and roll
And
around in
roll
it.
all in it.
So there is a nastiness element.
There is. There is. There is.
That's
I
all. That's
love
all.
that.
That's all.
I love that. We're gonna wrap, but William, we got to know.
I
Nerd
played
geek.
baritone horn. I was first seat baritone horn, second seat trumpet. I was a brass wind mate. That was my major instrument. My applied. They used to say my applied instrument. So I guess I was kind of a band geek, but I was kind of cool.
Oh, come on.
You were kind of cool. You are still kind of cool. Oh my
I was
god.
kind of cool. I wasn't that geeky.
No, for sure, for sure. Well, all of you again. I was saying to Darcy earlier, just after we rewatched the episode, I was like, I think we both agree that we really want this to be a soft pilot for its own show. Like, it would just make such a phenomenal series. You are all so excellent in it, and Bria, there is a very specific moment where you're just standing at the doorway, and there's just this quiet, and the performance from you is just incredible.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, I think we
So
talked about that. Yeah.
So good. Thank you all so much for your time today. We hope to get to chat to you with all of you in any project again in the future. But yeah, thank you so much for the conversation. It was fun. And now please enjoy this conversation with the lead of SideQuest Episode 3, Annamarie Kasper. Hey, Annamarie, my name's Nate.
And I'm Darcy.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us on the Geekcentric podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here.
Happy to have you.
Yeah, we're excited to talk to you today. So with this episode of SideQuest focusing specifically on the music of Mythic Quest, the game, we want to start off by asking, are you a gamer? And are there any great video game scores that you love?
I am unfortunately still new to the gaming world, so I'm still getting into it. But this has kind of definitely opened up my world into the world of music video game. I was classically trained as a cellist, and so much of my world was just all the classical composers. So it's been so cool getting to get to know this other side of music. Yeah, so more to come, hopefully.
Oh,
Cool,
okay,
cool.
okay. Yeah, we were just watching the episode, and we were just both saying how fantastic the music is in the episode itself. That I'm not, unfortunately, I don't know the composer's name, but did an excellent job.
Yeah, TK is our composer. He's phenomenal, phenomenal. And I got to work super closely with him. I actually did all the recording of the cello. I went up to Nashville to record with the orchestra, which was so cool. And getting to work closely with him was incredible. He's so talented, so talented.
Fantastic. I wanted to kind of ask a question that, now that we know that you're a little more new to the world of video games, I'm going to change it up based off of what I originally had. But there was a question that one of my favorite composers, one of my favorite film composers, Michael Giacchino, asked his fellow composers at a panel at D23 last year, which is, and I'm going to open this up to film, or actually, you know what, I might even just open it up to any piece of music. If you could pick a piece of music that best represents you as a person, what would that music be, or what would that piece be?
I love this question. It would have to be a cello piece, of course. And it's gonna be the most basic cello answer, but it is what it is. But that would be the prelude to the Bach cello suites, which everyone knows and everyone loves. But there's a reason everyone knows and loves it, and I think it would be me because and honestly, the whole suites, almost the suites are kind of like an anthology series because you get a little taste of each movement of something different. But I think, there's a reason those pieces are so well known. The Bach, he knows what he's doing. And they're so effortless and easy. So I would go with one of those.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah.
With Mythic Quest wrapping its 4th season and SideQuest debuting on the same day, were you a fan of the show prior to coming into SideQuest?
Yes, huge Mythic Quest fan. It's such a fun show to watch. It's one of those you could just watch all day long, and I sometimes do. I love the writing. I love the characters, the actors. It's just so. It's like I said, could watch it for hours. It's so well done. So getting to join was unreal, and especially the standalones there's so beloved. So getting to kind of have my own was just unreal, unreal.
It's the coolest. We were both saying it's awesome how I think some of our favorite episodes are the bottleneck episodes of each season. So they're like one's not enough. We're gonna do 4 more. And
Right.
So good.
which is amazing. And I'm so grateful that like everyone, the team and everyone at Apple kind of like recognized how beloved and how these episodes are and how great the fans are. So yeah, so it's really cool.
So good. So good. We hope for more. In this episode, you play Sylvie, who is also a cellist like yourself. What was that like getting to merge your musical and acting talents together on screen? And did you draw any personal experience from your absolutely phenomenal performance of failing a very difficult piece for solo string bass by, I gotta get the whole title in, by Tom Johnson, which you performed at the University of Michigan?
Yes, yeah, that was so I at Michigan I was a dual got two majors. One was in acting and one was in cello performance. So for my like kind of final hurrah as a senior, that's what I did. That was a really tough one. I'll be honest, if anyone hasn't seen it, it's talking while playing at the same time and it's like he wrote it so it's impossible to play. But I got pretty close. I have to say, I think I got pretty close with it.
Yeah.
No, getting to, I grew up playing cello. Cello has always been such a huge part of my life. And studied in college. Since I graduated, I haven't been able to play as much just because my kind of life took more of a focus on acting. So getting to bring that out was the greatest gift ever. It's almost like Katie, our writer, like broke into my apartment and like read my journals, like, what's her dream role? And gave it to me. And so a little weird that she broke into my house, but like I'll take it. Um, no, it's such a part of who I am because it's been a part of my life for so long. And it's such a special thing to me. So it made it so easy to tap into kind of Sylvie's mind and world. Um, and it was so relatable, so much of the stuff she was going through. I've never had a mental breakdown on stage, spoiler alert, but I think as we all artists do, kind of struggle with sometimes the anxiety, the ups and downs of it all. And having kind of a life as a cellist so readily available to me made it so wonderful and easy to tap into kind of her world as well. And just getting to have cello there is like, it's like having an old friend. So it was very comforting.
Yeah, for sure. In this episode, we could see Sylvie learn some difficult lessons on the challenges of shifting a passion into a career. Have you found yourself in any situations like that where you've had to pull back to rediscover some of your passion?
100%, 100%. And that's part of why Sylvie felt so close because I think I've kind of always had these two passions growing up was acting and cello. And at one point I think I realized I was like, I think cello needs to be mainly mine, if that makes sense. Like, it's so like so a part of who I am, and I didn't want it to become kind of what it became for Sylvie,
Mhm.
which is it's such a gift because as an actress, which is also a passion, which has become more of like kind of like my life and career, having cello to kind of fall back on as my artistic, like that's just for me to keep that part of my artistry alive, has been such a gift and something I'm so grateful for.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because in episode two of Mythic Quest, there's also a character. Her name is Cherry, or of Side Quest, sorry. And she also sort of has something. She has the comic book store, and that's sort of for herself, right?
Yes.
So have those things. Yeah,
That episode, I got to see them all last night. Hilarious. Like, could not stop laughing. It
yeah.
was, they just killed it. I mean, everyone did. Yeah.
So good. We talked to that the cast of that episode just a couple days ago, so
Mhm.
it was a lot of fun. Now there were some truly wonderful moments in this episode. Besides the ending, which I won't spoil, but I teared up a bunch. I was tearing. Were you tearing up, Darcy? Yeah.
A bit, yeah.
A little
Yeah, it
bit.
got me a bit.
He doesn't get cry as much as I do in these things,
We
but
love men with emotions. We'll take
it's but there's also a moment that I absolutely adored, where Sylvie rediscovers the music in the world around her. Have you had a moment like that where maybe music has shown up in a somewhere that you least expected it?
Absolutely. I think whenever I'm going through a rough time, as it happens in life, I feel like sometimes I have a soundtrack in my head, and it'll come up for me. Like I'll suddenly like it's almost like a self-soothing technique that I develop for myself. Um, and yeah, I'll like if something's really frustrating me or something's hard, I'll suddenly like which frequently the box suites will come up or another piece that kind of has brought me comfort or that I've really enjoyed playing will kind of come up and like yeah, and it's kind of like I was saying, something that I'm really glad gets to be mine because it gets to be this kind of like source of comfort. And yeah.
I love that. I love that you're thinking of box sweets. The example I was thinking of was like when I walk past my laundry room and the dryer song goes.
Which is also something that happens too. Yes, no. I love to I live mainly in New York
Okay.
and I've turned the subway when they say like please step aside and let the passengers off the train first. I have a whole song that I've made up from that and it now it gets stuck in my head almost every day now. But yeah.
It's so good. On the TTC in Toronto, where we're from, like there's a song that plays that I'm convinced is from Sesame Street, but nobody else believes me.
I
So I
believe
don't know. Thank you. I appreciate
it.
So we're the Geekcentric podcast,
it. Yeah.
and we define being geekcentric as being passionate about anything. Besides music, acting, and casting, what are you geekcentric about?
Ooh. Um, my family, as cheesy as it is, I have a really wonderful, amazing family that I'm very lucky to kind of have a great relationship with. My friends, going to theater, going to museums, running. I recently become a runner. Um, yeah, there's so much. Good food, good coffee. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
geek about all of those things and proud.
I love that.
Nothing wrong with that. Again, it sounds like a great way to live your life, just being passionate about the things around you. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and it's we were doing some digging. We found your resume.
Okay.
And so yeah, I mean, you just listed a very, besides the ones that we had you omit, long list of skills. One of the skills that we discovered, unarmed and single sword stage combat.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that? And were you bummed that you didn't get to use it in this episode of Side Quest?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like you would think, and they have all the characters with the swords, and I didn't get one. I'm like, what's
Right?
up with that? Season two, that's what I'll do. No, the yes, I went to at the University of Michigan. They had a really strong like stage combat section of the degree. So yeah, so I did all of the like unarmed and armed, and we had swords, we had like daggers. It was so cool. It was so cool. That's another thing I'd love to do one of these days is like a big action something. Yeah.
That'd be so
That'd be
dope.
fun to see.
That'd
Yeah.
be great. That'd be great. All right, we're gonna wrap here in just a moment. The kind of the last thing I want to ask, and it's just sort of like something I love asking actors in general in the industry, is because I think there's so many moments where we love to talk about all the other people and all the wonderful things that the people around us in a production do. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily take the time to acknowledge maybe something that they contributed. So I'd love to know, Annamarie, is there anything that you contributed to Side Quest that you are specifically, particularly proud of?
That's a good question. Like you're saying, I think it was such a huge team effort on this one. Like,
Yeah.
so I'd hate to in any way diminish what everyone else did for it. I think bringing in my music history was kind of something and they were so like open and receptive to kind of making it as accurate as possible, just kind of the things I know from my life as a cellist. And like letting that, because I think we were all really passionate about like making sure it's as accurate as possible so that when all of the not only when all of the Mythic Quest side quest fans are watching it, they're locked in. But if any professional musicians tune in, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, because there's nothing more frustrating than seeing something on screen not like accurately reflected.
Line
So
up or anything. Yeah.
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 yeah, getting to bring in that knowledge was super cool, and they like totally trusted me and took everything I said. So it was really lucky.
And from a production side, you're actually playing on camera?
Yeah, so I play on camera. That's me the whole time. And then I also did the recording of the music. So that was another thing I was really, really lucky. And also probably another thing I'm really proud of contributing is they hired professional musicians to do the whole orchestra, but then let me come up and play with them, which was so cool because, I don't play as much as I used to. So getting to play with this whole professional orchestra and then doing the solo parts too. So yeah, so it's my music there too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was really cool. Again, it was an incredible soundtrack for this episode because the score is so good. So
So
you
good.
did a great job bringing that to life.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Annamarie, thank you so much for your time today. Again, you're excellent in this show, and we hope to see more of you, and maybe with a sword in hand one day. But thank you again for your time, and we hope you have a great
Thanks
rest
guys
of your
so
day.
much. Have a good day.